Okay, it's time for some more fidget spinner reviewing. I'm going to open up some packages again. I've got two here that I bought off of eBay, and I've got 3 packages over here that I got from Amazon. So let's just open these up and see what we've got. And we have this company called SUNNYTECH Spinners LLC, and I have this blue, it looks like aluminum spinner with little arrows on the end. Seems to run pretty nicely. Okay, that's number 1. Number 2, also bought on eBay. Okay, you can't quite see it. It's in one of these generic tins. Okay, we got a tri-spinner with blue buttons on it. I bought this because of the way it looked, but one of the little blue pieces is off. It's broken in the box. I can probably glue that back on with no trouble. Whoop, don't want to lose it. Let's see how it spins. Ooh, it's wobbly. See if the caps are loose. No, they're not. It's just plain wobbly. Okay. Well, we'll try to fix that one and test it. Let's go to Amazon. I've got this big box from Amazon that I've been dying to open. This feels like it's got several in it. If it has several, we'll just stop with this one. Let's see what we have in here. A whole bunch of stuff. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh boy. 5, 6. What was it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7, 8, 9. Okay, so we have a problem here. So I have a total of 11 spinners, and my videos are already way too long, so I'm going to not be able to do all of these. Let's just take this one, and this one. We'll just put these away for the next video. Okay, let's see what we have here. From SUNNYTECH, made in China. A little 4-wing spinner, and the first thing I feel is sharp edges. It's machined, but it's got some sharp edges. And it seems to spin pretty well, and it's got some weight to it. So we'll check that one out. And we'll see what's in here. It's in one of these little generic containers. Oh, this is that odd-shaped spinner. I think I just bought this because it was funny shaped. But it's made of brass, and it's bigger than I thought it was going to be. Seems okay. Has no name. No name on it. Alright, and the last one from NUBARKO. I think this is a titanium spinner. Find the tape. pouch inside the box. And that is the NUBARKO titanium spinner, and it's a little smaller than I thought it was going to be. It's quiet. Feels pretty good. Okay, so there's the 5 spinners we're going to review, and I'm going to try to go through this a lot quicker than I've done before. All right. Okay, it's time for the subjective ratings for these 5 fidget spinners. I've had a chance to play with all of them, and we're going to start with this blue double arrow from SUNNYTECH Spinners. It's kind of a novelty spinner, but it's pretty cool actually. It's a little bit thick. Looks nice. For the looks, I'm going to give it about a 7. For the feel, it spins really well. No problem with that. And it feels okay. It's rounded off fairly well on the edges, but a little bit of roughness, not too much. I'm going to give it about a 6 on that. Perceived quality is pretty high. Seems like about a 7.5. The next one is this blue tri-spinner. We had a problem with this one. One of these blue decorative pieces was off in the box. I put it back on with epoxy, and now they're all on there. I'm a little bit worried that one of these is going to fly off when I test it, but for the moment I think it looks pretty nice, about a 7. The feel is nice. It does spin really well. It's heavy. It has this wobble in it. It turned out I looked in here and the button is not really tight. It doesn't really fit in the bearing very well, so you can click it back and forth like this, and when you spin it, it has this funny wobble effect, which is, after I played with it for a while, it was kind of cool. So on the feel, I'm going to give that about a 6. And the perceived quality, not so great. It's some kind of cast metal, and it has these blue decorative pieces glued on, and obviously the glue's not that fantastic. So the perceived quality, I'm going to say about a 4. The next one is this thing. I don't know quite what to call it, but it's a interesting little brass spinner. It's got a big button. It spins okay. It's different in both directions. In each direction, it's a little bit different. It seems to be easier to spin one way than the other way. And it's kind of light. The button seems to be heavy, but the wings aren't very heavy. And appearance, about a 6. And the feel, I'd say about a 5. Perceived quality, it's just a typical brass spinner made out of a plate, and it is probably about a 6 on that. The next one is this NUBARKO titanium spinner. It's a little bit small, spins nicely, it's quiet. The appearance is nothing fantastic, but it's a little bit of an interesting design. I'm going to say about a 6 on appearance. The feel, nothing unusual here. It's just a typical kind of thing. So I'm going to say about a 6 on the feel. Perceived quality is pretty good. It's a titanium spinner, and it's run smoothly and quietly. Perceived quality about a 7.5, I'd say. And the last one is this spinner with 4 wings from SUNNYTECH. The first thing I noticed about this is it does have sharp edges, and I'm going to actually try to show this to you. This thing actually, when you spin it, it actually peels off a little bit of my fingernail every time I flick it because it's so sharp. I don't know if you can see my little shaves of fingernail flying off of there, but you can actually take this thing and you can carve wood with it. I've got a paintbrush here, a wooden paintbrush, and you can just take this thing and carve into wood with it. It's so sharp. So it's the feel is not going to be very good at all. The appearance is okay. It's about a 6.5. The feel's not going to be good, unfortunately, because it's just way too sharp. So I'm going to give that about a 3 on feel. Perceived quality, not too bad. Runs pretty smooth and quiet. So I'm going to give it about a 6 on that. And that's all of those. We'll get on to the testing next. Okay, as suspected, the blue tri-spinner didn't hold up to the spin test. 2 of the little decorative pieces came off and I can't find them. So this is disqualified, and I'm going to substitute another one in here. This is SUNNYTECH. It's another one that came out of that box of 9. It's a SUNNYTECH by NOUSTS, Nous or something like that. So I'm going to open this up and see what it looks like. Okay, another tri-spinner. And this looks to be all copper. There it is. Copper tri-spinner. I'll do the subjective rating on it a little bit later. But this one seems nice and it looks like it's going to hold up to the spin test. So I'm going to substitute this one in for the other one. Okay, here goes the copper tri-spinner by SUNNYTECH. Okay, it's time to do a wrap up on these 5 fidget spinners that we're reviewing right now. We disqualified one with this tri-spinner with the blue inserts because a couple of the inserts flew off during testing and now it's unbalanced. I can't test it. I replaced it with this nice copper tri-spinner from SUNNYTECH, which we'll talk about later. The first one was this blue aluminum double arrow. This is made by High-Tech Spinners. It got an average subjective rating of 6.8 and it got a spin duration of only 58 seconds, so it didn't spin very long, which is something I'm seeing with a lot of the aluminum ones. They just don't spin for very long, and it's because it's just not very heavy. It only weighs 37 grams, and so it's nice looking, and you can play around with it, but it's not a champ in any way. It cost $19.95 on eBay, and that one so overall score of 3.83, so not too good. The next one up is this unusually shaped brass piece. This is made by a company called CEVINEE, S-C-E-V-I-N-E-E. It got a subjective rating of 5.67, average spin duration of 1.31 seconds, so it didn't spin very well or for very long. and it's mostly because there's not much weight away from the middle. Most of the weight is right in the middle, and the button itself seems to be heavy. It got some little bit of variability depending on how it was held, but not much. Got an overall score of 3.73, which qualifies it for poor. So it didn't run very well, unfortunately. The next one up is this NUBARKO titanium spinner. This one did a little bit better. It got an average spin duration of 4 minutes 7 seconds, and it definitely had a preference for being spun vertically rather than horizontally. It didn't go as long horizontally as it did vertically. But the 4 minute average time qualifies it for very good spin time, and it got a subjective rating of 6.5. So the overall score was 5.75, which qualifies it as average to almost good. The next one up is this interesting one from SUNNYTECH. This one is the one with the very sharp edges that takes shavings off of your fingernail when you use it. So it didn't get a very good subjective rating. We've only got 5.1. It varied a lot depending on how it was held. When it was held vertically, it got spin times of over 7 minutes, but horizontally it kind of fell apart, and especially on one side it didn't get good scores at all, 3 to 4 minutes. But the average spin duration was 6 minutes, which is pretty good. It's very good. It's mostly because it's heavy. It weighs 90 grams. And it got an overall score of 5.66, which qualifies it as average, approaching good. I still wouldn't recommend getting this one, though, because it's not going to be something you can play with very much, because it's going to tear up your fingers. It cost $18.99 on Amazon, and it's from SUNNYTECH. And the next one is this. This turned out to be a great replacement for the one that fell apart. This thing is absolutely amazing. I gave it a subjective rating of 8.33. It feels great, it looks great, and the perceived quality is very high. A 9 for the feel and the perceived quality. A 7 for appearance, because it's kind of plain looking, but it is a very nice polished copper, and it's heavy. It weighs 107 grams, which is good, which is why I usually like to buy the copper ones. This thing got an average spin duration of 11 minutes and 53 seconds, which I didn't even think was possible. By far the longest spinner I've checked out so far. I haven't seen anything else that approaches the spin duration on this. It's very smooth, very clean. It has a slight preference for being vertical. It goes a little bit longer when it's vertical than when it's horizontal, but not much. Had a average variability of only 31 seconds, so it got a little bit penalized for that, but not much. So it got an overall score of 8.64, which is by far the highest score I've given so far. The only way this could have done better would be to be a little bit less variable in its spin duration, or maybe just a little bit better looking. This one was a little bit of a high-end piece, not super high-end, but high-end. I got it on Amazon for $36.50. And that one is the one you should get. That's a very nice piece that'll go for a long time. It just spins and spins and spins. You can just touch it and it spins and spins. So that's the end of this video. We'll see you later.